Good morning, internet. So Sunday the 22nd of October and the time is 10:48. Now look at this. Yesterday the weather was terrible and they did say that it wasn't going to rain today. That's exactly what they said. I'll just get on here in a minute. And to be fair, at the moment it's not raining. It's a bit cloudy, but it's not raining. So I thought to myself, do you know what, today's plan was going to be to work on the little new bike, Gigi. But when I saw this I thought, you know what, I haven't been out for at least a week, and that was bringing old Gigi home. So I thought to myself, it looks reasonably dry at the moment, so let's have a little ride and see what the sea looks like, because we've had some really bad winds here over the last few days, so it might have stirred the sea up a bit. There you go, automatic visor still working. So I thought, right, okay, let's go. Do you know what though, it's not cold. So the trusty Himalayan says it's 17 degrees, so we're probably looking at about 14, ain't we? Hey, I'd say roughly 14, and steaming up quite nicely on the old visor, well, the glasses I should say. So I put the winter boots on this morning, and it takes a bit of getting used to them again after riding around in the summer boots, obviously all summer. They're nice and light. These are great boots, but you got to get used to them again, yeah, you know. And I look at this geezer here, obviously getting used to the winter boots can be a bit iffy at times. Right, so anyway, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's feeling pretty good today on this half decent, when I say half decent, I'm still not too sure that the rain is going to stay off all the time, because it's looking a bit cloudy. But this is only going to be a quick ride out, just down to the coast, have a look at the sea and come back again. Gives the bike a bit of a run, and it also gets me out. And like I said, I was going to be working on old Gigi this morning, but yeah, change of mind for a bit. The off-road crew, we have by us, we have the you know, the off-road sort of bits and pieces where they go, yeah. And I mean, after the rains we've had, does it get muddy or does it get muddy? But they absolutely love it, you know, and fair play to them. I mean, you know, that's what they do, innit? And they come back, you know, they go out sort of, well, they're normally out before this, but they sort of, you know, I see them coming back past where I live sort of 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they are absolutely covered in mud, you know. And I think to myself, oh, I'm too old for that, you know. But they love it, and that's the most important thing, isn't it? I mean, there's me. I mean, I guarantee you, when I get back today, the underneath of this will all be swilled down, because, you know, the roads are a bit muddy and dirty. So yeah, right, a bit of a comparison here. Like I said, I rode the Meteor home last week, and you know, you get on the Himalayan and what a difference in bike. I don't think you realise, you know, well, like when I rode the Meteor home last week. Obviously, I'd never ridden one of those before, or anything in that sort of style of bike, to be fair. So I couldn't really compare it. Do you know what I mean? But now I'm back on the Himalayan. I can compare, and I think this sort of makes you realise, or makes me realise, what a comfortable bike these Himalayans are. I'm not saying by any means that the Meteors are uncomfortable. They're just a totally different sitting position. And if you've got the Classic, again, the Classic is a totally different position. You know, the Meteor is, they aimed it to be a sort of a more of a cruisery style bike, and that's what they've sort of done. Like I said, I've never owned a bike like that, so the whole concept of sitting on it was different. But when I got back, which was about 4 hours of riding, I won't say I jumped off the bike and was glad to have got off it, but I certainly, on that bike, I wouldn't want to do huge trips. Whereas this one, you know, I mean, like for instance, when I came back from Normandy, this was great. You know, 6 hours in the saddle. Makes me sound a bit like John Wayne, doesn't it? There was a song about him. Don't worry, again, I won't burst into it. Anyway, yeah, when I got back from Normandy, it was, I felt, you know, it was great. So I do appreciate that the Himalayan, I think, is a very comfortable bike to ride. Oh, good. Trust me to find the pothole. So yeah, but of course, two different bikes, both from the same company, but two different bikes doing two different things, you know. I mean, the Himalayan initially is a sort of an off-roader adventure style bike, although, you know, that's, as everybody knows who follows me, that's not what I bought it for. But I certainly got it because of going camping and that sort of stuff, carrying gear, and it does that absolutely beautiful. I mean, it really does, and I'm so pleased with the end result. So yeah, and of course this is its first ride since I changed the oil. If you remember, I did it an oil change, so there's nothing squirting out, or I'm not leaving the trail behind me, hopefully, so that should be okay. So yeah, well, it is looking rather, considering what weather we've had over the past few days. We've lost the wind, we've certainly at the moment lost the rain. Let's hope it stays this way. And yet the forecast, like I said, the forecast for today was sunny, and to be fair, for once they've got it right, which is a good thing. Gives everybody a chance to sort of get out. Like I said, the plan was to get up this morning, because I really thought it was going to be raining, so the plan was to get up this morning and work on the Meteor, get the chain done, but when I saw this, I thought to myself, nah, you know, you have got to get out in this, and you know, it would have been really rude not to, eh? And like I said, a nice little ride to the coast, see what the sea looks like, is always worth it. Now I'm just trying to think here, because we had some road works there. I don't quite know where this geezer's going, but still, never mind, eh? There you go. Oh, you haven't been out for the weekend, they're still on the road, aren't they? Never mind. We'll put it down to bloody Sunday mornings, eh? Right, so I'm just trying to think. Actually, well, they've definitely shut that road off. There's no two ways about it. You can't argue with that, can you? If I've ever seen a closed road, that was it. Look at them all getting the bread of a Sunday morning, eh? I think that's a French tradition that will never die, eh? Never. Bread is the most important thing, eh? But I must admit, if you go to a proper boulangerie, I've said this before, if you go to a proper boulangerie and buy your bread, it is nice, because it's something to do with some old traditional law that they can't put preservatives or God knows what else in. They can only use certain ingredients, which is great because the bread actually tastes brilliant. The only trouble is that it just doesn't last. You know, that bread that they've bought today, by tonight, if you don't eat it by sort of late this evening, that bread, well, the police could use it as a weapon. You know, it goes rock hard. But I suppose, you know, the good thing is it really does taste nice. Not that I eat a lot of bread. I'm not a bready person, to be honest. I don't eat much bread, but the French love it, absolutely love it. Aye. Same as their croissants. Now I gotta be honest, I don't mind a croissant. A croissant and coffee can be really nice. And then they have those, what is it? They're the croissants with the chocolate chips in, pain au chocolat. Eh? Oh, look at me, eh? Before you know it, eh, I'll be fluent. Not. Still. So, the bike, 3,427.8 kilometres. And do you know what? This bike runs beautiful now. You know, it really does. Yeah, I think it runs great. I mean, a lot of people say it's not fully running until it's done 5,000. Oh, I can sort of get that, 5,000 kilometres. But I mean, this runs beautiful now. Never going to be a speed machine, but I don't want a speed machine. We've been there before 100 times, so I'm not going to go into it all again. So the new one, I'm sure we've all been watching, well, most of us, I would think, watch and like and admire our Itchy Boots for what she does and the way that she does things. And of course, she's on the new Himalayan. I don't know, I suppose it's like everything else, isn't it? It's going to grow on you. It's as simple as that, isn't it? That's what it's going to do. It's going to grow on you. They've obviously sort of looked at what's going on and what people have said. I think you know, because I believe it's water cooled. Am I right in saying that? Do you know what? I don't particularly know much about it, but I do believe that it's water cooled. So water cooled and 450, it's definitely going to have a lot more oomph. Is it 40 odd brake horsepower, I think, opposed to what's this one, 26, is it 27? I don't know, I'm not a theory man, you know, but yeah. So obviously Royal Enfield have sort of listened to the ones that want a little bit more grunt and power, which is fine, you know. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, is it? If that's what you want, that's your choice, and so be it. This is fine for me, you know. I mean, I love this bike. I certainly wouldn't rush out and trade mine in to get the new one. I think, one, you're going to lose too much money. Not because it's Royal Enfield, but because that's what happens when you trade in a bike that isn't very old. You know, we had this discussion before. The minute it comes out the showroom, you're losing bits and pieces off it all over the place. And two, you know, it's I don't know, you know, two for me is, if like I've got this bike more or less how I want it, with all the bits and pieces that I want on it, they're not going to fit the new bike, that's for certain, or it certainly doesn't look like most of them won't. So you got to start all over again, you know. I don't know, you know, for the sake of saying I've got a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more cc, and I've got the new bike. But again, if that's what you want, then so be it. Would I get one sooner or later? Time will tell, won't it? Because, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, at the end of the day, I think what we've all got to do is we've got to, you know, sooner or later this will come in for me part chopping it. So when that happens, I probably maybe would look at the Himalayan and see, you know. Anyway, that's another story for a long time yet. Right. Well, it's certainly looking nice and bright, isn't it, eh? There is no two ways about that. Looks like we're going to build something else here, look. It's so nice to get out on the bikes, or on the bike. Can't really ride two at once, can I? Strange enough, I had this, I don't know who actually remembers that, when it comes down to insuring bikes. When I was younger, back in the UK, back in the, well, the 70s I suppose it was, mid to late 70s, I used to insure my bike with Norwich Union, who I'm sure have long gone. But Norwich Union did a rider policy, and you'd sort of state what you wanted to go up to, whether it be a 250, 350, 500, 6, you know, you get the gist. So, you know, for instance, I think at the time, I think I went up to a 500, because I think mine then was a CX 500. But the good thing was, being a rider policy, what the rider was insured, not the bike. So you were insured to ride any motorbike that you owned. So when I got the Meteor, I went into AXA, and that's who I'm with in France. Who I looked at lots of them, and AXA to me is the best. I've never had any trouble with them. I've done a couple of little claims. The last one was about 15 years ago. It was a helmet when I was involved in a bit of an accident. Well, look at that. Well, that don't look too rough, does it? Anyway, cutting a long story short, basically it was like, okay, you know, I've got 3 bikes now. I can only ride one at a time. What sort of deal can you do me? You know, can you they don't want to know, do they? You know, they don't want to know. I don't get that in this day and age. Anyway, right, let's get back to the job in hand. Let's see, look at that. Well, doesn't it look absolutely... I thought that we'd come down here this morning and maybe this would be quite rough, but it's not. It's not at all. If anything, it's calm. So after all that storm out in the Atlantic and all the winds, hey, I'm quite shocked, really. I really am. I thought this would be raging, you know. I mean, okay, bit more than usual there, look. But I mean, nothing to what, I mean, I've seen it lush here. Yeah, okay. Well, there's a pleasant surprise. That'll please the wife, because she works in the fish industry, And obviously if there's bad weather out at sea, the trawlers can't go out. The trawlers can't go out, they don't catch the fish. and yeah, hey, look at that. It's okay, you know, I mean, a little bit more. It's not normally like that here, but as you've been with me before and know, but yeah. And people are around, look, having a walk on the beach, and why not? Why not enjoy it, eh? Oh, I love the sea. The sea and the lakes, I absolutely love them. We don't have too many lakes around here, but we certainly got a fair bit of sea. Still, there you go. Look at that there, eh? Beautiful. Hey. Oops. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, hey, a few clouds creeping in there, but still, never mind, I can live with that. And what we might do is, might actually turn it round and go back to the way, I'm thinking, and get another view the other way. Rather than heading towards that big black cloud there. This is the view that I normally have, because you get, look at that. I mean, even as it's breaking on those rocks there, you know, it's still, yeah. Well, doesn't it look nice? And the sun, do you know what, I know this sounds daft, but the sun, I can feel the bit of warmth on my back, eh? I mean, gorgeous, yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Everybody brings the dogs to the beaches now, which they can do this time of the year. There's only certain times that you can bring your dog to the beach, and obviously in the summer months you're not allowed to bring them on the beach at all, which, you know, I think is fair. I'm a dog owner, and I think that's because unfortunately there are dog owners that you know, they don't poop the scoop up, do they? Or scoop the poop up, I should say. And you know, I've also got kids, and the last thing that anybody wants to do is take their kids on the beach, you know, and they're digging with the buckets and spades, and some dirty bloody dog has done that. So, you know, well, it's not the dog's fault, is it? You know, it's the owner's fault who doesn't get it up. So yeah, so in the height of the season, they can't bring their dogs on the beach, but now they can. Having said that, I'd love to take my dog on the beach and let him have a run, but unfortunately he's not a dog friendly dog. He's not a people friendly dog either. So, you know, he'd have to have a muzzle on, and even then, you know, he's a family only dog. He doesn't get on with other people, and he certainly doesn't get on with other animals, so it's not really worth it. But that's the way life goes. I can't get over this warmth, this sun behind me. It's so nice. You know, we're virtually coming to the end of October, and yeah, of course all the kids are hoping that the weather's gonna get a little bit brighter than it has been, because we've got Halloween coming up. Hey, dearie me. So they're all ready with the costumes and the little buckets to go out with different families and different mates and everything else, which is fair enough. Keeps them happy, keeps them busy. Well, I reckon that we might see a bit more rain now this afternoon. those clouds are gathering quite nicely, so this little spin just to say hello to the beach and the sea was worth it. But there again, not a long time to stay out. I was listening to again to a channel that I follow, and I've become friendly with him, Harry from Moto Latvia, and you know, it's because obviously, you know, the part of the world that he lives in, you know, their winters make ours look really mild. But of course, you know, Harry being on two wheels with his Himalayan and his Vespa, when you get the snow, obviously you're pretty limited to what you can do. And he gets, by all accounts, he gets a fair amount of snow for a long time as well, you know. So of course you can't really do much, can you? You can't really go out. That's the trouble. And it's a shame really, because, you know, you think to yourself, well, what am I going to do, you know? But I do believe that he's going to reminisce us with some stories of years gone by, so that should be interesting. Some fireside stories, I think he said, so looking forward to them, I am. So I'm just wondering, hopefully, I'm trying to think back last year. I managed to ride throughout the winter, I think. I know I copped some cold days, but then again, to most people it probably wasn't that cold. That's just me again being soft. So yeah, but we'll have to see. I mean, if this is what it's going to be like, because, you know, I mean, it literally is so mild this year. We'll have to see. So it's coming up, I think it's in a couple of 3 weeks, that I've had this for 12 months. So we're going to do a review. I mean, come on, everybody does a review, so why not me? So yeah, I'm going to do it. Oops, we nearly had a bird as a mascot. So I'm going to do a bit of a review. I know what I think about it, what, you know, my likes, my dislikes. I'm not gonna wrap it up in cotton wool. If I don't like something, then I'll tell you what I don't like. Likewise, if I do like something, then I'll tell you what I do like. It's as simple as. And I think it's important, you know. The trouble is, and I'm not knocking anybody here, but there are these people that do these reviews, you know. They get in with the local dealerships, you know, and they take a bike out when they first come out, and, you know, they check it out for a couple of 3 hours or whatever, and then they'll give their honest opinion on the bike. Well, that's great, you know, that's fine, but when I picked this bike up, if I'd have been taking this bike out that day to do a review, I don't think I'd have had much to say good about it, to be honest. I really don't. You've got to run these bikes in. These bikes have got to become part of your family, yeah? It's got to be part of you. It's your machine. You and the machine have got a bond. So you need to do a few 1,000 miles on it, and you need to do different riding styles on it, and then I think you can do a review and give a proper review, you know. And again, I think what's important with these reviews is we got to remember the person that's doing the review isn't going to be the same as someone that's listening to them. They might have totally different riding styles and different ideas of what the motorbike should do, or whatever it is they're reviewing. So yeah, you know, again, anyway, we shall see what my review is like, eh? I shall delve back into my calendar of last year and find out when I picked up this bike. I can remember the day really well, and like I said, I always remember riding it home, which was a good 2.5 hours ride home, and I remember riding it home and getting back in the garage and getting off the bike, and my daughter saying to me, "Oh, do you want a coffee, Dad?" And I sort of stood there and I looked at the bike, and I was really in two minds, thinking to myself, have I made the right decision, you know? But all will be revealed, eh? All will be revealed in time. Now, what's this lady doing here? No, she alright, is she? Oh no, he's not a lady, it's a man. Is he okay? Yeah. It's alright. You see people doing some, you know, and you don't know if they're not well or maybe having a funny turn, or, you know, and I'll quite happily stop and help someone if they're in trouble, or I think they're ill. They don't have to be a biker to get my attention. Well, all in all, it's not looking a bad day up there, is it? Well, it's right now above me. We got some clouds, but you know, it's not that bad really, is it, eh? I really don't like riding in these big boots, huh? Like I said, it's not that the boots are uncomfortable, because they're not. It's just that they're big and cumbersome on the you know, and you've got to get used to it, you know, because my summer ones are so light. But I did notice on the summer ones, when I was giving them a good clean, that there's a great huge crack appearing on them. So, but to be fair, they are about 8 or 9 years old, so things don't last forever, do they? So maybe next year, if the wife's listening to this one when I put it on, you know, it's my birthday in May, so you know, maybe a pair of summer boots could be on the list, eh? You got to be cheeky, ain't you, know? Yeah. So, I tell you, back to the Meteor. It was nice to get back to road tyres rather than these knobbly things. It does make a difference, you know. Well, obviously makes a difference to me because I don't off-road, so you know, and there again, if you're an off-roader, you want the knobbly tyres, and I get that, whereas I don't. But yeah, like I said, when I did the oil change and cleaned this bike down, they just don't seem to wear out, you know. They just don't seem to wear out at all, which money wise, you know, the economy of them is absolutely brilliant. But when you think to yourself, I really want to get a set of road tyres on these, it's not so good, but still. Right, well, as anybody that follows me knows, we're on the homeward stretch, so I hope this little ride has been as pleasurable for you as it has for me. I know you all know the route that I take when I just come out for a quick ride, but hey, I'd like to say, because the last time that we sort of spoke when I did a ride, unfortunately, it was all the troubles and everything in Israel had just started, and again, I don't share my opinions either way on this channel. I just The only thing I will say is that, like I said then, we're human beings, they're human beings, everybody is, and it just seems the loss of life and is terrible on both sides. It doesn't matter, I'm not interested who they are, what colour they are, or what they do. It's just a shame, you know, and let's hope that they somehow, someone somewhere can sort this out and everybody gets back to some form of normality. Anyway, so I'm going to put this one on sometime today, but I'm also gonna probably be working on the chain this afternoon on the Meteor, another little job done, and that will get that sorted. So whether that'll go on today as well or whether that'll be on tomorrow, I'm really not sure, but anyway, there you go. We will, well, I will keep going. So basically, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the ride. I hope you enjoy my channel, whether it be out on the bike or in the garage doing bits and pieces. If you do like it, if you've dropped in for the first time, I'd love you to subscribe to me, I really would. I keep getting all these emails off people. I got one last night, you know, offering the advice and they can make my channel grow quicker and all that. You know what, to these people, thank you so much, but I'm not interested. I do this for me, and I do it for the people that want to listen to me. I don't need extra help or advice or anything else. I know you mean it probably with the best intentions, but I'm sure somewhere along the line there is an intention for you to make some money out of it. So yeah, like I said, I do this for me. It'll always be for me and the people that watch me. So if you like the channel, subscribe to me if you would. Thank you very much. See you soon. Take care. Bye for now.